right. We're doing the red knots now. Here's our Repello Squibtum. Okay. We have 5,000 hours. Let me say this again. 5,000 hours of red knotting. $5,000 hours of Repello Squibtum red knotting. Just to connect the red ray into the physical beneath your feet. Let me say this again. 5,000 hours of red knotting. So that's like 10 years at an hour and a half a day. Let me say this again. It's 10 years at about an hour and a half a day. And that's your bone cellular generation going, I am not a squib. And then it creates the red ray and the physical little bits by little bits through your neural system. Let me say this again. It creates the Repello Squibtum through the red ray, through your neural system, but also through the physical earth element. So we're trying to be able to manipulate matter in a really healthy, positive capacity with zero shadow underworld. So we're not using the dark side of the force here. We're actually creating, through manipulation in Netzach, the red ray through our physical body. So it's 5,000 hours. Now, if you got the download, we're doing the blueberry tree next year. So it's like, it's gonna look like this, where you have a blue bulb. You can't even see that this is blue. Maybe if I turned it off. So it's a blue lantern. And then we have the red octopus on top. So it's just like the ornament with the blue earth with the red octopus. Like we're doing full Repello Squibtum. So we're calling it the blueberry tree. And on top of every blueberry, we have a handmade red octopus. And so we're going to go through like how we make these step by step. It's pretty easy. And we're going to talk about sizes also, because the way that like the size of this is okay. Like this is the standard, and that's like with a 1 inch, that's a 1 inch ribbon. But then we have like 1/2 inch ribbon, and like that creates a finer, you're gonna need half of them or maybe more of the smaller ones, because those are that's micro gridding versus you see how this is an inch versus the bigger ones. So this is Marshall's wand. We're beginning to make Marshall's glitter wand. And so he's going to have all of the Repello Squibtum all over the wand. And it comes in different colors of red ray. So we have just the general red ray, and then we have the darker red ray. And so it's both. So again, like 5,000 hours of this. So you're going to get... The ribbon's inexpensive. What's really important is the physical manifestation of these knots. Let me say this again. No matter what you're doing, even if you don't believe in magic, that's weird. If you don't believe in understanding the mirror prism, also weird. But at the very least, this is an art experiment, and you are manipulating via Netzach. Let me say this again. You will be a walking red ray totem via Netzach. So you will be manipulating the mirror prism like a Slytherin in full force just by the act of doing this. Let me say this again. Kusama became an international hit just by installing lights through mirrors. So that's Netzach. So you'll be you're gonna be a witch, and you're gonna be this is Repello's Squibtum. So you're learning how much work is required to become an actual witch and manipulate matter at will. Instead of praying to God and then everything you do is a singularity, you will become an ascended master and develop full control over your own crafting ability at microcosmic levels. Let me say this again. You will understand the difference between a channeler or a prayer person versus an ascended master who has discipline and extreme levels of self-control and heightened development. So these are our Repello Squibtum knots on Marshall's wand that are already done. So I can do about 3 an hour. I'm learning to not count how many I need to get done, and now just like zoning out in meditation, actually doing them. So what you're gonna do for the 1 inch, ribbon, a good healthy size is a little bit over, it's like 1.5 feet at most. And there are 4 strips of ribbon. Let me say this again. 4 strips of ribbon at about a little over 1.5 feet equals this. So this is my octopus. You see how cheap that looks? We're gonna go ahead and tie it so it has like a nice center knot. There, you should, if you're taking an Ascended Master class, you should understand like 500 pieces of data that I just gave you, including how to tie a knot where all the four singular ribbons come together and then create the octopus, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have just 4 dark ones, or 3 dark ones and 1 light one that hasn't been done yet on Marshall's wand. And we have this, like, ooh, we have a mistake on one of them. And then I can actually link one of the smaller, look, I even tagged it with a heart this time. We can have a smaller one. We're gonna look like freaks. But guess what? All monks do, the good magical monks, is like 10 hours of sand prayer meditations. So this is nothing new, but this is through the earth element and it sticks. Let me say this again. It's the red ray, earth element, and then it sticks. And then it sticks in your underworld so that the next lifetime when you incarnate, you're going to not be a squib. Let me say this again. However many you get done is recorded in the Clipith so that the next incarnation that you experience will have the records of these actions so that you're not a squib. It's really easy to pour on and layer in white ray. That is not the problem. If you're like a meditator, you understand how to connect to another human being and then go, God, white ray, surrender, let go. You know how to do that very easily. What you don't know how to do is make sure your clipith is totally clean and that you're 100% able to manipulate matter through the red ray because you're actually connected to the planet and to the Earth system. Let me say this again. The red ray is the physical manifest. So to manipulate physical matter, you're going to need that level of light frequency at opposite levels of inertia force to begin. Let me say this again because it's like rocket science to everyone. You need the opposing, so this has a specific red ray force and it works against me and it works against my mind through the matrix system. So I will need the adequate red ray force in my aura through my clipith and through my root chakra to be able to bend it. Period. So that's what all the Repello Squibtum knots are for. Again, it's 5,000 hours. Then you can like do things like just manipulate your facial structure or recreate bone. So you need to know how to manipulate earth element in general just to begin a really good healing practice. Let me say this again to all the dumb Reiki healers out there. You need red ray, Repello Squibtum, earth connection element to begin a good healing practice. That's what Ravenclaw Medical will be for after the real Ravenclaw is built on this planet. So a Reiki healer is nice. It's like nice, gentle energy. That's where you learn how to connect to the white ray so that you can do all the actual work plus all the A&R books. Oh my God. Because this does not go away ever. Ever. They will be mandatory. People will be ordered off this planet, I can guarantee you. Because they'll try to manipulate materia without actual permission from the Ascended Master establishment. So we'll have an entire Ministry of Magic that will be regulating every single thing out there. And definitely making sure there are no sex criminals at all manipulating anything. So... See how, like, this is Archangel Lucifer's glitter wand. We're not allowed to call them trash wands. Glitter wand. Archangel Lucifer is not a squib. This is the first thing he wanted. There is no way that I am going to be anything other than a master. So this is why we like Archangel Lucifer, because Archangel Lucifer has no problems going, I do not want anything other than just pure magic in my life. Okay. Now we have things like, well, what do we do with all these knots that we have? We can start making our jars where we put our food, like remind us that it's just totally magic. We put it on our keychains. Oh no, I have a whole yoga bag that I just did, real level hippie knots. They're gonna be everywhere, and then you're gonna have at least 600 of them that will go on your Christmas tree for the blueberry tree. I'm not even allowed to say what it's gonna be for the next year, because we're gonna do an entire, if I can, in Glastonbury, the entire, for 2 weeks, builds the Mother Mary bloom. So the entire, and at the White Well, it will just be all of this on the fencing. So it will be most beautiful holy installation for actual alchemical magic creation. We're gonna pause this video now. Back in full force. That took 5 seconds. All right, so like, if anybody had seen the video where I got a new yoga mat, here it is. So it's a red striping mat. We're doing it for telomere binding, right? So I have just on like all my zippers. And then they come in different sizes. So you can do them real long and real lanky. You can also just do after you do a glitter wand or like a trash wand or something, you can do like long braids, or then you can tie more braids to more braids and you'll be covered in it. So you are 100% at that level a walking art experiment. And because you're a walking art experiment, you're already shifting out the entire consciousness on this planet because they're going to know that you're a witch. Let me say this again. Let me just say that again. When they see you with all of your witch stuff, you create the alchemical baseline response to their brain wavelength that you're a witch, and it reinforces the pattern from their quantum mirror prism to project witch at you. So you make yourself more and more and more into a witch just by reinforcing the mirror prism of it. So you're not gonna hide. You're not hiding this at all because we're all just dead meat if we don't like make it happen. So we're kind of just walking in the middle of public, like we're witches and wizards, and people and like paparazzi will know. They'll know exactly what it is, and they will just push more of that energy at you because you're commanding it. It's like, I'm going to dress for the job. I'm dressing for the job that I want. So definitely this. So on your altar might just be covered with it. You might have it in your magic basket. I'm going to put them all on the wands. I have like a wand pile over there. Like, oh no, don't break, because I'm dumb. So like, do you see that area beneath? Do you see the area there? So like I have a wand pile. Like I keep them at the bottom shelf of my altar. Like at least they're wrapped in Hufflepuff as much as possible. And so I'll just cover it with the Repello Squibtum on that. As we progress, there's nothing more to be said other than you're just going to be nodding all day. When you do those knots, you do them in, let's show this again. So you have 4 strands, and then you make 8 strands. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this 1 inch and we're going to cut it in half. So where are my scissors? All right, so let's start that. We also do things like I'm going to make a pouch bag. Any kind of magic spell I'm going to do, every single magic spell I'm at least doing 1 knot for. Let me say that again. Every single magic spell, I will at least have 1 Repello Squibtum knot on it. I have it on my keychain. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have 8 things, like an octopus, okay? 8. And we're going to do this. We're going to take 1 of them and we're going to go cut in half. Now this also alters the genetics of your entire bloodline, and your kids will still have to do them. Let me say this again. It alters the genetics of your bloodline, and still your children will have to do them. As you upgrade through the root chakra of your DNA, your children will get the byproduct response 100%. So this is like it's really easy. It can take up to about 20 minutes for each one, but it's simple. But the point is that it's a nice profound meditation, and you can feel that ray of energy anchoring through the clipith beneath your feet. Let me say this again. You can feel the red ray anchoring beneath your feet in the clipith, especially if you have all the work done from this class and this is just your next video. Now, here's our really fun don't tell me this. So Kelly goes 5,000 hours of the red ribbon just to probably move a muscle. Like when we can get to bending metal, that'd be awesome at will. Not like I'm going to go into a spoon bending class, but like I have full power no matter what, and total mastery and control over my chi force, and I'm actually able to manipulate all that matter at will. Where I have Jesus level calculations. So again, I just cut it and I cut it. So you might want to even do it on the scissors and make your scissors sacred. As you manipulate each item, and you make sure you're like tagging all of your items, this is magic, this is magic, this is magic, this is magic. When you tie in your Repello Squibtum on your lamps, or on your crystals, or on your teapot, you begin to think of everything really differently. This is 5,000 hours. So Kelly comes in and goes, 5,000 hours, and I go, oh no. Oh, well, at least the blueberry tree, like the blueberry Christmas tree next year, that will just be the overflow from what we did. Let me say that again. The blueberry Christmas tree will be the overflow from what we did. So how do you do that? How do you even begin? So you get a stick, or for the small ones, I'm going to get like straws. I'm going to get metal straws. And then I'll tie everything in the knots around this, and then I can just slide it off. I can just slide it off, right? And I'll have like 500 of those knots prepared for the blueberry Christmas tree. And then this on the small ones, it will be on the nice metal straws. And I can just slide it off. Now, what happens after we get like 5,000 of this in the red ray? Well, if you're in Ravenclaw, you're going to go another 5,000 hours of the blue ribbon, and then another 5,000 hours of the silver ribbon afterward. Because you're going to be smart. Because you're going to take the red ray beneath your feet, and you're going to turn it into blue ray. Because that's what a real Ravenclaw Ascended Master would do. And then you're going to turn it into the silver ray of Hokmah. So that's 30 years of an hour-and-a-half meditation. Where you're using your hands, and you're able to use and like your muscles stay functional as you age. And you're able to do higher level craft work. So you'll definitely be able to tell the difference between a Gryffindor family and a Ravenclaw family. Let me say this again. You will be able to tell the difference. Not only with A&R work, But with the physical, actual magic work of who did the Ravenclaw level Repello's Squibtum knots. So that's an extra 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours of Repello Squibtum, but through the blue and silver ray after you did the red ray, not before. Let me say this again, because Ravenclaws are smart. They understand they have to do the red ray first, and then they probably need to do the darker ray, darker red ray also first, the slower version. And then they can do the blue ray. Not before. So we're gonna just finish off this video by doing one for Marshall. But what happens is that like the energy beneath my feet feels more solid, like I have control over it instead of sheer fate. Like I'm at the mercy of some cosmic god out there. Instead, it feels more like I have control of the energy, the red ray beneath my feet. I'm grounded now. So this plus the A&R work is pretty much everything for the next 30 to 50 years. Let me say this again. We have like the mental body installs. We have books on a reading list. But most of those books are philosophical books or kind of like edited spiritual books just to get our brains to think in creative ways, to get our brains to go outside the box. So it's not like metaphysical books, which should have been read before you ever even took this class. Like, nobody should be in this class if they haven't read Dion Fortune. But it's okay if they're not, and then they will read Dion Fortune. But in general, this class was for people who were already developed or that could catch up on a much faster wavelength because they would be willing to do all the work and do all the self-sacrifice to even get there. So there are few people on the planet that understand like really letting go of fear. But the Archangel Kamael house is part of that. So at that level, we are required to lead. Let me say this again. At that level, we are required to go off into the unknown and use our understanding of mathematics and tree of life to lead. And through that, we actually can create really high return, good CRI reality. Like the idea that all of these look like red octopuses and that just the red octopus is a totem of intelligence and survival skills. Let me say this again. At a baseline, if you understand Yesod and animal magic, the red octopus is your totem for developing in the moment intelligence and survival skills. So just on that basis, this meditation is worth it 100%. And that's why the red octopus is a sacred totem of Gryffindor. Let me say that again. The red octopus is a sacred totem for Gryffindor. Yay! So, good Gryffindors get told by God how to actually create magic. And you will need to have all the cords cut in all of your cellular system to people. You'll need to be like 100% clean, so that's all the A&R work, and that's all the A&R levels. to be able to do anything moving forward. Like, you're not going to be teleporting when you have cords to star. Let me say this again. You're not going to be teleporting on this planet if you're, like, corded to people. At all. That will end up in a giant mess. You need 100% cord cuts. You need to be in full yesod, full healthy astral yesod to even get, like, the permissions to do anything. So that is full independence, full grape jelly cord cuts before you'd even be able to do really anything at all. You should also be producing your own ether. So let's say this again. As I produce the Repello Squibtum knots, it commands another level of ether production beneath my feet to create Repello Squibtum. So the purple magic, the astral light, is really easy. The physical light is not as easy. The physical light costs. And really, like, red ribbon is super inexpensive. But what we do with the red ribbon, the price of the time, is what actually creates through the quantum field. So we're anchoring in through the physical world, the Repello Squibtum spells, and then it obviously automatically replicates through the astral planes. And not the reverse. The reverse is way more challenging. You always have to start with the red ray and the physical and then get it to be commanding the astral light surrounding it. That's the easiest way. What we had to actually go through when we went through Gabriel was intimidating and miserable because we were doing it in the reverse capacity and trying not to get assaulted at the same time through the mirror prism. And we did it. We got it. It was scary and it took us 3 years. We're filling it in right now with the Ophanim gridding. So if you're interested in helping out, if you're planning to go into Ravenclaw down the road, you should be at a baseline in the Ophanim gridding world, especially if you want to be an Ophanim as an adult, like in an adult capacity. Like some people want to be Ors. And then some people want to be Ophanims. Ophanims are really highly technical and they're biologically savvy. So they understand all, like not all biology systems, but they would study with people like Dan Barber or who Dan Barber goes to like develop farms that are sustainable. And they understand the entire ecosystem and the laws of the mineral kingdom and the laws of the plant kingdom. And they know how to work with it instead of steamroll it. We're not allowed to steamroll the plant and animal kingdoms. There are way deep laws surrounding like planet regrids or environmental regrids because of the way that as you strengthen as a magician, you have to work with the laws of nature instead of against them. So my biggest issue is I'm always bound to Odessa, who is like the spiritual Maleficent of this planet. And she tells me what to do or what not to do all day long. And so I'm never allowed to do what she goes absolutely under no circumstance. So right now, again, we're just in like baseline Ophanim gridding with a community of dragons that are smart. And then with Odessa telling us what to do, and then Mother Earth just sits aside and goes, please help. and then sometimes Mother Earth asserts Mother Earth's boundaries, but very rarely, like Odessa's in charge, and then Mother Earth is like, I am in ER situation mode. But Mother Earth decides what she doesn't like a lot. There are laws. There are rules on this planet. So, Ravenclaw understands those laws and is obedient to them. And then they are highly intuitive and incredibly sensitive to those laws and structures. So if like Mother Earth cringes when you try to touch something and you're not sensitively attuned to that, like just stomping on dirt and crushing the biobacteria is against the, like, if you're not sensitive to those things, like, forget being in Ravenclaw. You will be attuning your sensitivities to just everything through the blue and silver rays, and you will be required to be obedient and like rise above it. And you'll attune yourself to the Hierophant laws of nature and of those natural systems. And then you will become masterful. But we still have 5,000 hours of these Repello Squibtum knots. So we're almost done now. So we're getting there. It's a lot nicer when you're just in a meditation zone listening to kumbaya music or om music, or root chakra music. Right now I have the live cam of the orcas playing on in the background, and that's lovely. I'm hearing the question, why is Chris Pratt such a narcissist? So he was bred wrong. Just that. So we're gonna fix that in humans. So now we have our Repello Squibtum knot. So that's about it. We're good.